This is Olive, and I'm 11 years old, and I live in Southside.
This is Cooper, and I'm 4 years old.
This is Elena. I'm 13 years old and live in Spickley.
This is Julian. I'm 14 years old and live in Highland Park. And this is the Kidsburgh Podcast.
Welcome to the Kidsburgh Podcast. We love interviewing remarkable people and sharing their thoughts with you, and also filling you in on Pittsburgh gems, cool places that you might not know about, but you and your kids will probably love. I'm Kidsburgh's editor, Melissa Rayworth, and I'm here with my friends and coworkers, each of them a parent just like me.
Hi everybody, I'm the director of Kidsburgh, Yuling Chang, and I can't wait to dive into this episode. Along with an inspiring interview, we've got honest intel from local teens as they answer a question that parents might just be curious about.
And I'm Christine Sorensen. I anchor the news at KDKA-TV, and I'm a Kidsburgh producer, and I am so excited to tell you about this Pittsburgh hidden gem. It's called the Moonshot Museum, and it opened in 2022, so it's one of our newest museums, but it is literally a window to out of this world. So it's all about careers in space. And so there's so many different aspects to sending up rockets and lunar landers that you don't even think about, not just the scientists, but all the other people and aspects that go into it. So first of all, the most impressive part is there's a massive window, floor to ceiling, where you see actual employees with Astrobotic, which is a company in Pittsburgh that's making lunar landers. You see the employees actually working in there. Like, they're not looking at the museum goers. They are actually working. And it's what's called a clean room, which means it's highly filtered air. And the scientists' bodies have to be almost completely covered. They have to have a special clip that grounds themselves so they don't pass any static to the spacecraft. They have to make sure that no sweat or anything gets on. I mean, everything is perfectly clean. That's so important. So you see that, you learn about that, and then you learn about all these other careers in space, like how art and design and writing and policy all have to do with space. So, I think we often think, an astronaut, which of course is a really cool job, and we got to interview one of them for our Kidsburgh podcast. But what you realize is that kids who have an interest in space, there's so many directions they could take. And if you go to this museum, you're going to learn about a lot of them.
Wow, and I would think it's one thing to tell kids about those jobs, but it's another to go there and actually watch all of this happening. So cool.
And it's cool, too, that they have these hands-on activities for kids to do. So you can see, what happens if the surface changes and you want to try to change the equipment used for it. You can actually test it right there alongside these real professionals.
Yeah, it is very hands-on for kids of all ages. I mean, I know we're talking careers, but there were little kids when I went there, too, and they were really enjoying it, too. So check it out. You'll find a link to the Moonshot Museum at kidsburgh.org/podcast. And now stay tuned for our interview with my friend, meteorologist Ray Petelin.
Pittsburgh is Kidsburgh. You're listening to the Kidsburgh Podcast.
Have you ever wondered how to predict the weather? Do you wonder about the science behind weather, like how clouds form, or why thunderstorms happen? Or maybe you've wondered what makes a rainbow appear? Today, we have a meteorologist joining us in the studio to answer all of these questions. With the seal of approval from the National Weather Association, let's welcome Ray Petelin from KDKA-TV. Welcome, Ray.
Oh, it's great to be here.
So first, tell us, what is a meteorologist? What do you do?
Well, there's a couple different things that meteorologists do. The most common form that people see the most is the person on TV who tells you what the weather is going to be in the coming days or what's happening right now. So that's my job. So I predict the future, at least the future of weather. There are other meteorologists who look back to the past to try to figure out what weather was like when dinosaurs were around, to try to help other sciences put together a better picture of how things work. We call those forensic meteorologists. There's crime scene meteorologists who look at what happened during a crime to try to figure out exactly when the crime happened and what happened with that. There's meteorologists who kind of look at the bigger picture. We call those climatologists, to talk about how the weather is kind of supposed to be and how that is changing throughout the future. So there's a lot of different things. My specialty is telling you what's happening now with severe weather and what is going to happen here in the near future in the next couple of weeks. Overall is what I specialize in.
Wow, I never knew about all those different kinds. That's so interesting, Ray. And I've known you for a long time because I'm lucky enough to get to work with you at KDKA.
And I'm more lucky to work with you. So, yeah.
So explain what kind of tools and techniques you use to predict the weather.
I always ask this when I go to a school presentation. I ask the kids what they think I use to see the future. And everybody's a thermometer, but that shows me the temperature now. People say satellites, but that shows me where clouds are now. They say radar, but that shows me where the rain is now. We want to know where it's going to be in the future. And the thing that meteorologists use to tell the future is math. So what we do is we take everything that's happening with weather and we give it a number. Everything in weather is a number. If I say it's going to snow, the first question somebody asks is, how much? That's a number. When I say a temperature, that's a number. When I tell you it's going to be muggy, that's a number. Cloud cover, that's a percentage of the sky. So we have all these numbers and we put them into these giant math questions. We call them equations. And we use that to tell how the weather is going to be moving or how it should be moving over time. And the closer we are to it, so if I'm to give you a forecast for the next hour, that's pretty much spot on. I can tell you in real good certainty what's going to be happening. And the more you go out in time, the more those numbers change and the more numbers there are. So it gets harder to do that big math problem. So as you look farther out into time, you might have less accuracy in your forecast.
That's really interesting. And the correlation with math, it is a lot of math that you just shared with us. And
oh, yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that most science has some sort of math component to it. We do cool experiments. And a lot of times you see the cool experiment as like, wow, that's science. But when that experiment is happening, there's a bunch of little math things that scientists look at that sort of tell us how things are working and how they're expected to move. So a lot of science has a math component in it. So I would always suggest kids always pay attention to math.
so what inspires you to become a meteorologist?
Well, many people I know have been involved in a hurricane or a tornado, and that's why they became a meteorologist. I kind of became a meteorologist by accident. I was originally a news anchor like Christine, and one day I had to fill in an emergency for weather, and I loved it. So I went back to school. So I already graduated college. I went back to school to learn about weather while I was working so I could become a meteorologist. So it's never too late to try something new. And you never know. It might surprise you and you'll love it. And then it becomes a big part of your life. And hopefully you become successful at it. And I've been very lucky that that was the case for me. So I became a meteorologist by accident. And I am so glad that accident happened.
Well, and I love that story. Christine and I have interviewed many people, and we hear all sorts of things about like how you start on one path, and it's okay to change to another path because you become passionate about something.
Never stop learning. No matter what you decide to do in life, never stop learning about something else because you might find it's really interesting, and you might be able to put enough energy in there to make that passion something that is valuable to you, whether it's valuable as something you love and makes you happy, or valuable that it makes you money, or if the best of both worlds, it makes you both happy and money, and you have everything.
That is the ideal. I love that. Ray, I love your Hey Ray segments that you do with your daughter, Elizabeth, where you together do fun science experiments. We've been able to watch her grow up. Now she's just graduated from high school. What advice do you have for parents on making science fun?
What I always like to do, and I do this with adults too, not just kids. If you are excited about something, be excited about it because it makes other people excited. Whether it's an adult or a kid, if you're excited about something, they feed off that energy. So 100% be excited about what you are about to do. When Elizabeth was little, we used to go for walks in the woods, but before we went for a walk in the woods, we would write a list of things we wanted to find, whether it's a nut, a rock, a bird, or something like that, and we would just check off that list, and we'd be excited about that list. And it was just a walk in the woods, but we were excited about it. If it's science, what I do, I try to make people excited about that. I try to take something that they think is the way something works and show them that it doesn't always go that way. I mean, one of my Hey Rays, I balance a bottle of water from a matchstick off the edge of a table, and it shouldn't work, but it does, because science. And if you're excited about it and you can show people that things don't always work like you expect, it's almost more like magic. And that's what I like about it. And actually, the funniest thing is my brother's an engineer and my sister's a teacher. And when my sister was in college, she took a physics class. And for some reason, my brother put the paper bag book cover on her book. And instead of physics on the book, he wrote magic, because that is essentially, how it works. Your mind goes in one direction and then science takes you into another place. And it's a really beautiful thing.
Speaking of magic and science, we're going to do a quick round of rapid fire weather questions.
Oh, no, a pop quiz.
Yes, a pop quiz. So Christine and I will take turns asking questions. I'll start with the first one. How do clouds form?
All right, my favorite weather word of all time is condensation nuclei. And it's a microscopic speck of something floating up in the atmosphere. And that microscopic speck can hold swimming pools and swimming pools and swimming pools of water like a cloud. And how it works is it's a speck of dirt or a speck of smoke, just something up in the atmosphere. And when the ground is heated up and moisture is lifted up, like in the water cycle, those cloud droplets need something to attach to. And if there's nothing to attach to, you don't get a cloud. So it sticks to a condensation nuclei. And then it's sort of like a party. All these cloud droplets start sticking together. And then if you've ever been to a really busy party, people start bumping into each other. Those cloud droplets start bumping into each other, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you see this cloud form. And as those cloud droplets keep bumping into each other, they continue to grow, and then eventually they get too big and fall out as precipitation. So you need the water cycle, so water lifting up, and a condensation nuclei. And let me tell you, if you just drop that word into casual conversation, people are going to think you're a genius. So just walk around, just say, oh, condensation nuclei.
All right, question number 2. Why do thunderstorms happen?
So, first of all, you need your condensation nuclei to build up a cloud. But thunderstorms happen because the Earth wants to be the same temperature everywhere. North Pole, South Pole, equator, where you typically like to be warm. The Earth is trying to keep everything the same temperature. So it's swirling all these things around, but it's trying to do a job it can never do. So it moves cold air into warm air into cold air. And these are all the different interactions that give you rain or thunder or snow. But in a thunderstorm, you get that hot, humid air lifting up. And usually a cold front helps lift that up way up high in the sky. And you see all that energy going upward. And you get the water condensing into rain and thunderstorms. And if it gets high enough, you get hail showing up. And it's just an intense change between hot and cold. So clouds form probably about a mile up. Thunderstorms can be miles high, and that just shows you how much lift is in the atmosphere. Lift and heat and moisture are the big things for a thunderstorm to form, and all of those coming together give you that ingredient for something impressive.
Okay, so what about a rainbow? What makes a rainbow appear?
Rainbows are one of those magical things that people see. Like a rainbow stops everybody in their tracks. It's like when you're driving and you see a cow. It's like, hey, a cow. Everybody has to look at it. But a rainbow happens when you have precipitation or rain and the sun happening at the same time. And you look at the sun and you walk outside and you can feel the sun. It's warm to you, but that's energy hitting you. And the sun lets out white light. And that white light travels into the atmosphere and is bent a little bit by the atmosphere. But if you have a raindrop or many raindrops, that light shines into the raindrop, and that raindrop slows the light down a little bit and bends it a little bit. And then that happens amongst a lot of different raindrops. So you get all this bending of light. That separates the colors, the different colors in white light, because white is all the colors. So it breaks up the blues and the reds and the purples and the violets, and all these different colors start to get separated as that light shines through these raindrops. So we call that bending refraction, but it's also reflected. So, water can reflect light too. So you have refraction and reflection, and this light is breaking up all the different colors and it creates a rainbow. And if you were high enough in the sky, a lot of people don't know this, and looking down, the rainbow would be a full circle.
Did you know a rainbow could be a circle?
No.
That's amazing.
I
do a Hey Ray with that. I show you how that works. I get out a hose and a 360 camera, and I don't know how my arms stretch that far, but we show you the full circles of rainbows too in one of my Hey Ray segments.
All right. We'll link people so they can watch these for sure. Okay, one more. When you're not tracking the weather, what do you and your family like to do in Pittsburgh, Ray?
We spend a lot of time outside. So like in the summer, we like to go paddle boarding. We like to take the dogs on walks in the woods, fishing, of course. We like to try new restaurants and, just get out and enjoy. We always like to try something new. So we're always looking for the next new thing to try out. We enjoy spending a lot of time outdoors, and that's where you'll probably find us the most. I mean, I like to feed the birds and hang out with birds on my porch and try to get them to, eat from my hand or something like that. But just a lot of nature stuff. And I guess that fits pretty well being a meteorologist.
Ray, thank you so much for joining us today. I learned so much. I want to go out and try science experiments right now. You've inspired me. I want to do it with my kids. It's been great having you on today's Kidsburgh Podcast.
I loved being here.
Thanks, Ray.
So I love that Ray started out on a fantastic career path. He was working as a news anchor, but when he was asked to step in and handle the weather, he realized it fascinated him, and he didn't just appreciate that for the moment and think, oh, this is great. He trusted his fascination enough that he went back to school while working and took his career in a further direction. It's really inspiring, and I think that's something we can do no matter what somebody's interested in.
Well, and he did say if you're excited about something, others will be excited about it too. And I really am seeing that now in every single one of our interview guests who have all become very accomplished. And I think it makes sense because they've found a passion. And when you find something you're passionate about, you spread that love, that excitement. Other people see it. They want to bring you to the top of that. You start learning more on your own. There's so many ways that you become better at something and really rise to the top when, again, you find something you love.
And I thought it was interesting how he talked about how much math he uses, but then to learn that this wasn't his original plan as a career. And it made me think, when he was a student in school, I'm sure he was very good at math. And those skill sets come in later, and you might not realize it. And so for me, I thought, I'm going to always be really good at whatever I learn because I don't know when I'll need it.
It's true. I absolutely loved when he talked about doing science experiments with his daughter and the fact that families really can make science fun together. This idea that before he and his daughter set off for a walk in the woods, they would make a list of things that they might want to look for or discover. A walk in the woods is a wonderful thing, but that turns a walk in the woods into a detective mission or a scientific mission. And that excitement between parents and kids is so wonderful.
You're listening to the Kidsburgh Podcast.
Pittsburgh is Kidsburgh.
Hearing from Ray about meteorology and predicting the weather got us thinking about the environment. We asked students at SLB Radio's Youth Media Center to interview local teens on their thoughts on the state of the environment and what they think people could be doing to protect it.
You learn about how it used to be such a beautiful place, and I'm like, oh, but isn't it a beautiful place now? And then you hear it was more of a beautiful place and what humans are doing. You can actually see trucks spewing thick black smoke. Then I get really worried about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not gonna be good for the environment.
The overall environment, it's okay. I went outside today and it was nice out, but overall the oceans are polluted and stuff, so the environment's not doing so good. Recycle and don't just throw plastic and stuff in the trash. If you can recycle it, do it.
Picking up trash, picking up recycling, and trying our best to actually make the earth look good instead of trashing it.
I think climate nihilism, climate pessimism is very common, but there are a lot of people fighting for better things throughout the United States. The waste that is produced is reduced because there are a lot of efforts to make sure that people are composting, that materials themselves, even before production, are produced using things that can be reused again.
My name is Olive, I'm 15, and I live in Allison Park.
My name's Ronan, I'm 13, and I live in Mount Lebanon.
Hi, I am Jackson, I am 14, almost 15, and I live in Homestead.
I'm Lila, I'm 19, and I'm from Shady Side.
So much to think about. I loved hearing from the teens and from Ray, and we've got plenty more inspiration and ideas coming up in the next Kidsburgh Podcast episode.
That's right, we're rolling out new podcast episodes for our 3rd season, and you can check out previous episodes where we talk with everyone from a producer of a popular kids animation show and a business entrepreneur to a chef and local author about the lessons we can learn from Fred Rogers.
Just go to kidsburgh.org/podcast to find them all, and be sure to sign up for our free weekly Kidsburgh newsletter to find news stories and online guides that can help you raise the kids you love in the Pittsburgh region and beyond. Thanks for joining us for the Kidsburgh Podcast.
This is Rocco. I'm in 7th grade and homeschooled, and this is the Kidsburgh Podcast.
On the next Kidsburgh Podcast, we talk with Piper Caulfield about having a career in soccer. Plus, we fill you in on all the fun at the Riveters and Riverhounds soccer games. And we spill the tea with teens, getting their honest take on what they might want to do for a career that might surprise people.
Until then, we hope you'll visit kidsburgh.org to find resources, get insight from local experts, and discover all the cool events happening in the Pittsburgh region.